And so I had to take a step back and realize, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be the type of person who people know is looking at bodies and food with a critical eye? Do I want people around me to feel like I'm paying attention to what they look like and what they eat? No. I want to be the type of person that is so unapologetically myself that other people feel like they have permission to be themselves too. And I'm not doing that when I'm talking about how insecure I am about how I look, or how much I weigh, or that I didn't shave, or that I'm bloated, or that I'm not wearing makeup, or that my hair is dirty. And if I'm believing negative things about myself and about those things, I'm putting out an energy that I care about those things in other people, and I don't. And the last thing I would want is for people to think that I'm judging them for things like that, for just being a person. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace, and what's going on today? Okay, wait, I totally left my water over there. Okay, hold on. Yes, I only got dressed from the top up for this video. Yes, I have a Stanley. No, I'm not basic. Or maybe I am, because isn't being like, oh, I'm not basic kind of another way of saying I'm not like the other girls? It's literally just you saying that you're not like the other girls. It's the same thing, okay? So ignore that. I am basic. I have my Stanley. I freaking love it, and I'm proud of her. And me. Why not? So I talk quite a lot about body image and like eating disorders and that sort of thing. But I don't think I really made a video about how I healed my relationship with food and with my body. So I thought today we could delve into that a little bit. I have my notes on my phone for what I want to say. So without further ado, let's get right the hell on in there. I don't like the way I said that. Let's get into it. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with me and my story, I struggled a lot with food starting from a very young age. So when I was around 6, that was when I noticed that my body didn't look the same as other girls. And it wasn't a huge difference, but I noticed I was a little bit bigger than the other kids, and the other kids definitely noticed, and they made that known, okay? I got bullied quite a bit in elementary school for my body, and that really stuck with me. And the reason why I make the clarification of not being that big is because, for 2 reasons. One, I want to highlight that your size doesn't dictate your size doesn't dictate how much you struggle with your body image. You could be in a much larger body and have high self-esteem and high confidence in your body, or you could be like super small and struggle a lot with your body image. So it doesn't always correlate to what someone from the outside might assume. Like, a lot of people will see a thin person and be like, oh, they must be so confident in themselves. And it's not always true. A lot of the times it's not. And a lot of the times that's why the person is thin, is because they hate themselves and their body so much that they are constantly dieting and trying to stay as small as possible. And it's totally possible to be in a larger body and be healthier. Like, I weigh over 40 pounds more than I did when I was at my lowest, when I was really struggling with anorexia in high school. But I also mentioned that I wasn't as large as I felt, because I don't want to come across as someone who has the ultimate authority on what it's like to live in a larger body, because even though how much someone individually struggles with their own self-esteem and their body image and all that can be whatever from body to body, there is a systemic difference in how we treat people in larger bodies, meaning people who are above a size 16. In the US, that's what's considered plus size, is above a size 16. And the way we treat people who are larger is a lot different than the way we treat people who are thinner. And that's not to say that people who are thin can't have poor body image, or that they can't struggle with having confidence in what they look like, because anyone can struggle with that stuff, as I said. But I do think, I don't want to take away from the fact that there are concrete differences in how fat people are treated in healthcare, in employment, in finding housing, in this, that, and the other thing, just for how they look. So I don't want to come across as someone who like knows that experience, because I don't, and I'm not speaking for that. I'm just speaking from what I know. And this is how I look now. I'm like at my heaviest. I'm not the biggest, but I'm not the smallest either. And the way I experience this stuff might vary greatly from another person. And it doesn't mean either person's story is more or less important or valid. And And so anyway, getting back to the story, like my story is I caught myself a couple weeks ago, or no, at this point it was a couple months ago, apologizing for how much I was eating. And I kind of catch myself doing that here and there, or if I eat more than my boyfriend, which is almost always because I eat a lot and there's nothing to be ashamed of in that. I've actually made a video about that. Something that was huge for me in healing my own relationship to food and my body was realizing that when I externalize thoughts like, oh, I'm eating too much, or I feel like I look so big. Do you see how I just started that list? I went, oh, I'm eating too much. Oh, I look too big. Like, why are we not going in order? Anyway, when I realized that when I say those things out loud and when I talk about those things that I'm insecure about, it's okay for me to feel that way. I mean, like, it obviously, you work on it, but it's okay for me to feel that way on the inside. But when you externalize those beliefs, you're telling the people around you that it's okay if they think like that too. And so when I say, oh, I feel really big today, I feel like I look so bad because I look big, someone else is thinking, okay, well, then she thinks if I look bigger, then I also look bad. Or she thinks that if I've gained weight, I also look worse. Which obviously anyone who has struggled with this stuff, a lot of us are like, no, I don't care what other people do or look like, or other people can look good at that size, I just don't like when I'm that size. Which is valid, I guess, but I don't know, the way we externalize our beliefs about food and body and eating too much or not enough or looking too big, too skinny, too weak, too muscular, whatever it is, we're teaching those around us that it's no problem for them to think those things about their bodies too. And I think I speak for most of us when I say we don't want those around us to feel like that. And when we say these things, oftentimes we're around friends or we're around family. We're in social settings where we feel comfortable enough to express our insecurities and things that are very personal to us. And that's wonderful, like we should feel safe to share those things. But I know that I have said things before like, oh, I feel like I look so big, my stomach looks so big, or I've said things like that, and then found out that the people I'm with have really struggled with food and body image. And then afterwards you're obviously like, oh, fuck, like I didn't mean it like that. It doesn't really matter, the damage is done. And so I really do think that the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things that changed my mindset around food and body image was thinking, would I want someone around me, someone that I love, to think these things about themselves? Would I say this to someone that I love? Would I say, oh, you've eaten too much today, you shouldn't have that? Also, the big one is, if I have kids one day, I don't want them to grow up thinking the things that I grew up thinking about food and my body. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that talking about your insecurities is sometimes just giving other people permission to also feel insecure about those things. Sometimes someone will make a comment to people in my family and be like, oh, you look just like Grace, or you look just like your X, Y, or Z, or whatever. And then the other person will be like, sorry. And it's like, okay, if you think that me looking like you is a bad thing, that literally means you think I look bad. And so why would we grant those around us the permission? Why would we be like, oh yeah, this is a safe space for you to also hate your body? And I get that talking about how much you hate your body can be a social thing. I know it especially is for women. Generationally, it's such a common thing for women to just talk about how much they hate their bodies. And I feel like it's a bit less so in my generation. I'm 23. But for like, I know hearing my mom's friends talk about this stuff, or like family members that are older, it is such a bonding thing to be like, oh, I look so fat today. And then the other person is like, no, you don't, I look so fat. Or like, does my ass look fat in this dress? And obviously in that context, it was people thinking it would be bad to have a fat ass, which now everyone wants. Or no, I don't know if we even want that anymore, because now we're back to heroin chic. And so I had to take a step back and realize, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be the type of person who people know is looking at bodies and food with a critical eye? Do I want people around me to feel like I'm paying attention to what they look like and what they eat? No. I want to be the type of person that is so unapologetically myself that other people feel like they have permission to be themselves too. And I'm not doing that when I'm talking about how insecure I am about how I look, or how much I weigh, or that I didn't shave, or that I'm bloated, or that I'm not wearing makeup, or that my hair is dirty. And if I'm believing negative things about myself and about those things, I'm putting out an energy that I care about those things in other people, and I don't. And the last thing I would want is for people to think that I'm judging them for things like that, for just being a person. And I think sometimes it's like, if you can't get better for yourself, find some other reason momentarily, because like if you try to get better for anyone other than yourself, it's ultimately sometimes can be pretty bad because if you're not doing it for yourself, it's not gonna stick as much. But I think in the short term, as like a baby step, if you're like, okay, I don't feel like I want to recover for myself yet, but I want to recover so that I can have a healthy body and so that I can have a healthy self-image and body image and teach that to my daughter one day, and teach that to my younger sister, or whoever it is. Because sometimes getting better for those reasons, and it doesn't even have to be someone in your life, it can be like, oh, I want to be someone who goes out into the world and people are like, oh, she's so confident, or I love how she's not afraid to eat how much she wants, I wish I could do that. Like, when you show up as yourself, you're giving other people permission to do the same. And I think that's ultimately one of my main goals in life, is for people to just feel comfortable being who they are. And another thing that helps me is reminding myself that when I'm the type of person who goes out to dinner in a big, can I focus? Can this focus? And another thing I remind myself is that when I'm the type of person who goes to the beach and doesn't have a perfectly flat stomach, or has cellulite or stretch marks, or when I go out to dinner in a big gathering and I eat as much as I want, or I'm not just getting a salad, or when I go to work and I'm not wearing makeup and I don't make a big stink about how bad I look, and sometimes I do make that big stink because I'm human and I'm learning and I'm not perfect. When I do those things, even if I don't say anything about it, someone might be watching and thinking, oh, that thing is totally okay. Or like, if she does that, I can do that too. And all of us can do this in some way or another. It starts a chain reaction. Like, I think talking about insecurities is kind of like a domino effect. Like, one person is like, oh, my nose is so big. Okay, now everyone in the room is thinking about how big their nose is, and if it's bigger than a certain type of nose, they think there's something wrong with them. And all of these people wouldn't have thought there was anything wrong with them if they had never been told there's something wrong with having a big nose. Now, that example is very loaded. I probably shouldn't have used that one, but I'm just giving an example of things that people say are bad, that have no moral value, actually. Things that people say are bad, then people recognize those things in themselves, and they feel bad. And it's like, for fucking what? For what? To give more money to plastic surgeons and to the beauty industry and to the makeup industry and all these people who are billionaires and making all these industries that are billionaires. Oh my god. These industries that are billion-dollar industries with very rich people at the top, making us feel insecure about things. Like, oh really, we're talking about how insecure we are that our face is asymmetrical so that we can give more money to a man at the top of like L'Oreal? The fuck? And so yeah, really just wanting other people to not have gone through what I went through and continue to go through. Because even though I say I've like how I healed my relationship to body image and food, I haven't fully healed. I don't know if that's even something that happens. I mean, maybe it is, I don't know. But I've come so far. I never even finished telling like my personal history that I started at the beginning of this. For anyone who doesn't know, I struggled with disordered eating for a very long time. I still sometimes do. And then I had a pretty bad eating disorder in high school. I struggled with anorexia, and then in college it became more bulimia. And I'm about a year into bulimia recovery, almost exactly. But yeah, so it's not, I mean, like, I'm not completely healed. I still have days where I think I look bad, or where I think there's something wrong with my body, or where I engage in behaviors because I'm really stressed out and it feels like a coping mechanism. So again, I'm not the ultimate authority on any of this, but these are things that helped me so much. And really, it's that main one of wanting people to feel comfortable and safe, and thinking about, like, if I have a daughter one day, or if I have a niece, or if one of my friends has a baby, I want that baby, regardless of gender. I keep saying like female things where I'm like, oh, your daughter, oh, your mom, oh, it can be any gender. I want those kids to come up in a world that was different than the world I came up in. I want us to bake together and actually eat it and not talk about how bad we're being. And I want us to go dress shopping and one doesn't fit me and I'm like, oh, I guess I have to go a size up, and it's not some big like, fuck, I have to go back on Weight Watchers. Like, I don't want food and body to be as big of a deal for the future children in my life as it was for me, and as it was for so many of us growing up. I really think the main thing is knowing that being yourself gives others permission to too. And you don't even have to be explicitly obvious about it. Okay, redundant, explicitly obvious. Just be yourself and see the chain reaction that happens. And even if it's not visible, it might be happening somewhere. And even if it's not, okay, well, at least you're also practicing healthier practices around yourself and your body. Like, you really can't lose. Either you take good care of your body and your mind and have a healthy, like, non-diet culture, non-weight loss centered mindset, and it inspires other people, or you do it and you just slowly feel better. Like, you really don't lose when you choose to love yourself. The only people who lose are the people who try to make you feel insecure and like you need to buy their product to stop being insecure about the thing that they told you to be insecure about. Okay, that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip. Wait! Hey, me again. I forgot something I was gonna say, which is, I know that a lot of the times when people talk about, you know, feeling fat, for example, or feeling too big, or feeling like, oh my god, we were so bad today, we ate so much bad food, we were so naughty, or like, oh, I look so ugly today. A lot of the times people are looking for A, connection, or B, reassurance. They want someone to say, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Which, like, shut up, because you can be both. But they're looking for someone, or at least I know, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Sometimes if I'm like, oh, I look so ugly today, which yes, I still say, okay, because I'm not perfect and I know it's bad, but I'm not fully mentally, I'm not like emotionally where I am mentally. You know, where I know that's wrong. And I know it goes against what I believe in, but still sometimes I do it because how I feel in here, inside, hasn't quite caught up. Sorry, sue me. But I know that when I've said things like that, it's I want someone to be like, no, you look so pretty and gorgeous, and you've never looked more in shape, and we were all talking about how skinny you are. Not actually, but like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you want someone to be like, no, I'm so ugly. No, you look so beautiful. Like, I'm a piece of trash. Shut up. No, I understand that people are looking for a connection, but there are other ways to learn to feel better about yourself than externalizing these beliefs that are only going to do more harm to yourself and everyone around you. Okay? Okay. Now goodbye.